Good evening. All right, y'all can find a just position that is comfortable to sit in like usual. You're gonna just focus on inhaling and exhaling to start like we always do. Feel free to cross your legs, sit with your legs straight, it doesn't matter. Of course, as always, you can grab a pillow and have it close by in case you need it later on. First thing we're doing, just rest your hands, palms facing up and open towards the ceiling. I want you to close your eyes. You're gonna inhale, lift and lengthen that spine. Exhale, sink down into your hips. Let your lower body, your tailbone, everything feel nice and heavy on the mat as you sink down. Lifting straight up, elongate that spine. Exhale, drop those shoulders down. Inhale, it's almost like we're on purpose scrunching our shoulders into our neck as we elongate. Feel free, even if you want to press down against your legs, not your knees. It looks like I'm pressing on my knees, but I'm not. I'm pressing on my quads right before they meet my knee. Lengthen and exhale. Try and inhale at least for 2 through your nose. Exhale through your lips. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Try to kind of shake off the day, the week, the month, the year, anything that is on your mind that has you troubled or stressed, whatever it may be. As you inhale, kind of think of those things, and as you exhale, try to actually exhale them out of your body, out of your mind, so you can think a little clearer. Good, up and down. One more up. Hold that breath in. Long exhale all the way down, sinking all the way into your hips. I'm even rounding my back right now. Let your head hang as well, dropping your head down. If you automatically, like I did, switched your hands to not facing up anymore, go ahead and face them back up as you let your head drop towards the floor. Your chin is naturally just going to tuck in towards your chest. Breathe and exhale. On this inhale, lengthen up your spine again, so you're sitting nice and tall. You're not arching forward at all. We're gonna exhale. As we exhale, the only thing that's gonna be moving is our chin, tucking into our chest. We're keeping our spine nice and long, only tucking in that chin. Right now, I'm trying to imagine my shoulder blades are drawing down my back alongside my spine, like my shoulder blades are pulling down towards my hips. Keeping my chest nice and open. My shoulders are not caving forward. Go ahead, and as your head is tilted down, chin tucked into your chest, go ahead and just look to the left side. Chin is still tucked in towards the chest. On this exhale, bring it back to the middle, still tucked. Inhale here, exhale, let's swivel that head over to the right side. Chin is still tucked in towards that chest, or now towards the shoulder. Arms or hands are still facing up. Breathe. Go ahead and come back to the middle. Come all the way up. Now you're gonna give yourself a double chin, and so as you're seated here, go ahead and I'm gonna explain it and then I'm gonna show you because it's gonna be a little hard for me to talk while I'm doing it. So you're gonna pull your head back. So you're not gonna move your shoulders or anything, you're just tucking your chin into your neck so you get a lovely double chin, triple chin, all the chins as you do it. And then once you do that, you're gonna put your one hand, let's say our right hand on the top of our head, and our left hand is going to tilt our chin forward. But you're gonna have a double chin before you do that. So pull it back in. I'm gonna do it really fast so y'all can see. Pull it in, hand on top, and tuck it in. Feel free to move that hand that's on top to the back of your head. Still trying to keep that chin tucked into your neck. Breathe. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Let's lift that chin back up to neutral. I don't think I ever realized how hard it was to talk with a double chin until I tried that move. We're gonna try it one more time. So chin in. Now I'm just gonna switch which hand is on my head and which is on my chin. So I'm gonna tuck that chin in, hand on top, grab that chin and tuck it. Feel free to move that top hand. Breathe. One more inhale. And exhale, go ahead and release. Now let's take our right hand, just put it on our left side of our head, and we're gonna let this head fall to the side. This hand is literally doing nothing except adding weight, and so that weight is just gonna work with gravity, and we're gonna pull our head a little past where we would normally just stop it. So it's just giving it a little bit more weight to stretch it out. Go ahead and take this left arm and walk it away from your body. If that feels too intense, then just leave that left arm hanging on the side, or you can rest it in your lap. Feel free to close your eyes. Inhale and exhale. Breathe. One more inhale. Exhale, release, switch arms. Again, not pulling on the head, just letting gravity and the weight of this arm naturally pull it to the side. Taking that right arm, walking it out if you feel good enough to do that. Otherwise, letting it just hang to the side or rest in your lap. Breathe. Good. Inhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Coming back to neutral. All right, we're going to go all the way onto our backs now, and we're going to be doing some 90-90 stretches on our back. So go ahead, lie flat back. Your feet are a little wider than hip width apart. Your hands can be out like, a cactus, and so they're bent, and all you're gonna do is let your knees drop to the side, and you're gonna breathe, hold it here. Trying to relax your muscles, let everything kind of feel heavy on the mat, weighted on the mat like you're sinking down into the floor. On this exhale, go ahead and let your legs fall to the other side. Breathe. Again, on this exhale, fall to the other side, and now we're just going to keep it a little more active. So instead of holding it, we're just going back and forth, legs going side to side. Breathe. Now we're going to start adding in, well, we won't do it while we're doing this, but we're about to add in another movement, which is going to be kind of drawing your elbows into your mid-back and squeezing your shoulder blades. I'm actually going to do it up against the wall because it's going to be easier for y'all to see it than if I stayed on the ground. So we're going to just do a couple more rotations here, help our hips loosen up a little bit, and then we're going to actually move back onto hips right after. Breathe. One more on each side, rotate, and rotate. All right, y'all can stay on the ground. You don't need to come up with me, but you are gonna watch what I'm doing. So if I were to stand against the wall and do this, imagine this is me on the ground. The only difference would be my legs would still be bent. They don't need to be straight. You're gonna take your, and I feel like we've done this in past yoga ones before, so if you've done this with me, you'll be familiar with it. You're gonna give yourself crab hands, right? So little pincher hands, make an L, and you have cactus arms to start. Your goal here is to keep the L, or the crab hand, on the wall, or in your case, on the floor the whole time, along with your elbows. So as I squeeze my elbows in, I want to keep everything against the floor. Elbows against the floor and L in my hand against the floor. So I'm squeezing, and then this is where it's going to get harder. Reach up. Breathe as far as you can go, trying to keep those elbows and the hands on the floor the whole time. Squeeze in and go out. I'm going to go onto the floor so y'all can see what it looks like, and then I'm going to come back up to the wall while y'all are doing it so you can watch me in case you need to see it a little more clear. So on the floor, what do it look like? My legs are going to be bent, because I want to also keep in mind, I don't want my low back to have a space underneath it. I want to keep my tailbone tucked in, and so my low back is engaged in the floor the whole time. And so we want to have our legs bent to do that. Arms out like a cactus. I have my L in my hands, or my crab hands here. Elbows touching, and then I'm reaching up all the way. This hand is getting stuck. Imagine this is not here. All the way without coming off the floor, and then back, squeezing it in towards my sides. So when I come back down, right now my low back wants to come off the ground, so make sure you keep that tailbone tucked the whole time. It'll actually make it a lot harder because it's forcing you to do it with the correct form. All right, so on the ground, y'all are gonna have knees bent, reaching up, keeping those elbows and those hands intact. Reach up and back. Feel free to close your eyes. Remember, keep that tailbone tucked. Inhale, exhale. Back and forth. Give yourself about 5 more to do. Breathe up and in. Breathe up and in. Once you reach those 5, we're going to actually move back into another hip rotation. All right, so finishing up my last one, coming down. Since you're on the ground right now, you're going to sit up. So coming up off the ground, going back into that hip rotation. This time we're going to do it while we're seated. So hands can come behind your back to give you a little bit of support. Legs are going to just drop from side to side. If you've ever taken a yoga class with me before, you definitely have done this one. Letting it just fall. Only let me know how that felt for your back. That one's a surprisingly hard exercise. It's one of those exercises that looks really easy and then it becomes very hard. Especially if you work at a computer and you have to be leaning over, or any job where you have to be leaning over a lot. That's really hard on the shoulders and the chest. Back and forth. All right, when I rotate to this side, which is going to be my right side, it doesn't need to be your right side, but when I rotate here, I am going to try to sit up as best I can. If I can't sit up perfectly, I can have my right hand to the side of me so I can have a little bit of support. But I want to try to shift my weight forward. So eventually I'm going to take this hand from over here and bring it in front of this leg. Now while it's here, I'm going to take this back leg and we're going to lift it, which again, another exercise that looks pretty simple, but it can be quite challenging. So from here, taking our back leg and trying to lift it, isolate that leg, lift it up and then down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Breathe. It's amazing how immediately I can feel it. It's isolating that back hip and that glute, and so my body cannot use any other muscles to help it. Breathe up and down. Now we're going to do the same thing with the front leg as well, and that one can also be quite difficult. Don't worry if you can't get your leg even off the ground. You're still just trying to generate that motion of lifting it up, and even that is hard enough on itself. Good, let's do one more. All right, now you're gonna come into a position where you're seated. Now this one, if you can't sit straight up and you need to lean a little bit to the side, go ahead and lean a little bit to the side. If you can sit straight up while you do this, that's ideal, but don't worry if it's not perfect. All right, so I put my hands on either side of this front leg, and now I'm gonna try to lift and then come down. Lift, I exhale when I lift. Good. And again here, we're trying to get it off the ground as best we can. But even if it's not, the foot doesn't come off the ground and you're just trying to generate that movement, that's all that counts. Just try to generate that movement, even if barely anything moves. Breathe. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Now rotate over to the other side. Shift. Again here, you're going to come forward, making sure that this leg, again 90-90, you want to make sure this leg is far enough back. Coming forward, focusing on lifting that back leg up and down. And try not to lean too much. So you're trying as best you can to still drive your hips forward with you and not lean over to the side to compensate. So trying to stay upright as best you can and lifting from this position only. You want to feel your glute working like crazy, put your hand back there and you can feel how hard your glute has to work because it's so isolated in this movement. Breathe. Don't hold your breath in movements like this. It's really easy to do that because it can be pretty uncomfortable. So try your best not to hold your breath. Let's do 2 more, and then we're moving to the front leg. Good, that was the last one. Coming up, hands on either side, and lift, and down. Up, and down. I feel like even your abs get a workout with this one. Up and down. Good. Find when and where you breathe in and out of the movement so it feels more comfortable. Good. And 3, 2. Feels like I'm pushing up cement, right? It feels like it's so much harder than it is. All right, let's put our hands behind our back, and we're just doing regular rotations. Now, at this point, I've said this before in class that I'm trying to get this knee to touch the ground. At this point, this knee should be able to be closer to the ground than when you first started because we just worked on that directly. So, if you feel a difference, that is why. It's way more warmed up now than it was before. Breathe. Good, one more rotation on each side. And coming back to the middle. All right, we're gonna go on to all fours. So from here, go ahead and switch on over to all fours, and we're gonna be just doing standard cat-cow, and then we're gonna be going into a puppy pose. So if you have a pillow nearby, you may wanna use that for the puppy pose. If you don't have it, you might wanna grab it just in case so you don't have to move once you start. But once you feel ready, we're gonna just do a very segmented cat-cow. Untucking, you're gonna tuck that tailbone in, and as you tuck the tailbone in, generate that movement up your spine, going slowly up your back, and then pushing the ground away. My fingertips are spread apart completely. I'm pushing through the ground. Breathe, tucking that chin in at the very end. And then generating that movement again from my tailbone, slowly untucking it while I'm still pushing the ground away. Letting that movement come up my spine and looking up towards the ceiling. Drawing those shoulder blades together. Generating the movement again from my tailbone, tucking it first, and then slowly making that movement up my spine. Push the ground away. Tuck the chin. Untuck. Slowly again. Go vertebrae by vertebrae. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Head looks up towards the ceiling. Tuck the tailbone. Almost the point where this could also feel like an ab movement because you're having to use your core muscles to also help generate this movement. Pushing the ground away, tucking that chin. Let's do one full rotation. Untuck, move up the vertebrae, squeeze those shoulders together, look up towards the ceiling. Tucking in last time. Coming up. And come to neutral. Now from here, if you want to have the pillow nearby for the puppy pose to help with it, go ahead and grab it. You're going to be keeping your legs at a 90 degree or close to a 90 degree angle. You're going to drop to your forearms. The pillow is really going to be used for your head so it feels more comfortable. As you feel more flexible, the goal here would be to get your chest to come onto the ground and then your chin to come onto the ground. That's not always the most comfortable for everybody. So start with putting your forehead either on the ground or on the pillow. And then you're trying to stretch out your arms like you're doing a child's pose, but your legs are more to 90 as opposed to sinking your hips back, okay? So legs at 90, dropping your chest towards it, trying to get your forehead to touch the ground or the pillow. If you're feeling comfortable and flexible, you can drop your chest to the ground and put your chin on the floor as well, and you're just holding here. Breathe. Good, keep breathing. On this exhale, go ahead and shift onto your forearms. This is going to be just a neutral position, and then we're going to move in and out of puppy pose. So this is going to be your relaxing part where you're not in the full stretch. So you're going to come up here, and then you're going to shift back down into it, either chest and chin or forehead on the ground. Okay, whatever you feel comfortable with, go back into that puppy pose. Breathe. On this exhale, coming up to neutral. Breathe for a second. Exhale, come back into puppy pose. Breathe, exhale. Go ahead and come up. Now we're gonna just do the top part of cat-cow. So from here, really focusing on the top motion, opposite of what we just did. We don't wanna curve our back, we wanna give it a little bit of a break. So just pushing the ground away. Don't even really worry too much about what your tailbone is doing. We're only focusing on the top half. Right now, push, push, push the ground away, rounding that back. Breathe. Now this is called a scapula push-up, and so it's focusing only on your scapula, which is this movement right here, where we're drawing our shoulder blades together. I'm not gonna really focus on what my tailbone is doing, so it can kind of naturally tuck and untuck. I'm just gonna go up, pushing the ground away, generating that energy away from the ground, and then dropping my chest through, drawing my shoulder blades together, squeezing them together. Again, not worrying if I'm curving my back. I kind of just want my low back to be neutral right now. So you can keep a slight tucked tailbone if you want to make sure that it stays neutral. Pushing that ground up again, really stretching out that scapula. Breathe. Down again. And to neutral. Now let's go in and do some thoracic spine work. So today is a lot about spinal mobility, at least this portion of today. So you're gonna sink back into your hips like you're doing a child's pose. Let's draw in our right elbow into the inside part of our knee, just right in here. Tucking it in, this is just gonna make sure that you can't cheat. If you feel like you can't do the full rotation though because of this limitation, it does make it harder to have your elbow in here. Just bring it out to the outside like this, okay? And you can do the exact same thing that we're gonna be doing with our elbow tucked in. So from here, you're gonna open up to the side, reaching up towards the ceiling. This is gonna help our mid-back. So your thoracic spine is what connects your lumbar to your cervical spine. So you're gonna just stretch out that mid-back. It's a little bit hard to get to. Bring it in. I'm rounding my back as I do this. Generating that motion again, looking up towards the ceiling. Breathe. Again, if it feels too tight, then come forward a little bit. Breathe. Come down. It's like you're high-fiving yourself, right? Up and open. Down. This time we're gonna give our left arm and push it into that knee. Switch sides. Right side open. Breathe. Bring it down. Open. Bring it down. Open. And forward. Now this next one, I love this stretch. I call it X arms or crossed arms. You're gonna make an X in front of your chest like this, and you're gonna be lying on top of those arms. So I'm gonna face y'all as I do it. It's gonna probably look kind of funny, but you're gonna see me cross it like this. And the more I can stretch my shoulders and draw my arms out, the more intense the stretch is going to be. Just remember which arm is underneath and which one's on top, because you'll need to switch it when we move. So you're going to come forward. I'm going to kind of come into, I'll put my hips down first. It got interrupted. Oh, okay, y'all are back. Sorry about that. Our internet has been in and out all day, so hopefully we don't lose it again. But you're gonna come down onto your hips. Arms, I'm gonna take my right arm and I'm gonna cross it first. I'm gonna take my left arm and it's like my two elbows are touching here, and I'm gonna kind of walk my arms out and then rest my body weight on top. And all I'm gonna do is just rest. Now you could put the pillow in front of your head and rest your head there, or I'm just letting my chin tuck in towards my arms. All you're gonna do here, take about 5 breaths, and we're gonna come up and switch. Just breathe, try to breathe and lift and open. So lift up your body, and as you exhale, drop that weight onto the arms, dropping your stomach down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go ahead and do one more. All right, lift up. Switch those arms around. This side, my left arm is down, my right arm is over. I'm trying to kind of pull them apart as much as I can. Dropping my body weight on top of those arms. Exhale. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, drop. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Up. And down. Last one. Up. And down. All right, good. Let's bring our arms around. Now, as you are on your stomachs, go ahead and bring your arms up to your chest or right inside by your rib cage so you can feel it with your thumbs. Push the ground away. Breathe, inhale, lifting. Exhale, sink. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. One more, up. Exhale all the way back down. We're going to go into a down dog. So from here, rolling onto our toes, or onto our knees, and then onto our toes. Push back into those hips. Push the ground away. Ears should be in between your shoulder blades. Your tailbone is untucked. You're lengthening. Push the ground away, trying to get those heels as close to the ground as you can, but no worries if you can't. Feel free to bend those knees as much as you need to make sure that back is nice and aligned. Breathe. Let your head just sink down, feeling weighted. Breathe. On this exhale, go ahead and walk those hands towards your feet. Now keep a forward fold. You're not going to come up all the way unless you did already. Don't worry. Hinge from those hips. Go ahead and just grab these arms, and you're going to rock from side to side. I want your head to just feel heavy. So you're just weighted down. You can even just let your arms hang if that feels better. Try, you're just letting your neck relax. Feeling all those little muscles. Feel your spine decompress as the weight of your head just hangs, swaying from side to side. Your back can be rounded right now. That is totally fine.
this exhale, round that back, come up vertebrae by vertebrae, nice and slow. Chin is still tucked in. Slowly bring your head straight and up. Do a few little head rolls here. Tuck that chin into your chest, rolling it around, letting your forehead looking up towards the ceiling. Round again. And switching which way you're going. Nice, slow, controlled movements. Bring your head to neutral. Go ahead and just grab behind your back. Your hands are clasped. You're going to point down and away from your tail. So you're pulling down your tailbone, pushing your shoulders back. Try to kind of tuck your tailbone just a little bit. If you feel like you're flaring out, try to tuck that tailbone just a little bit so you can have a nice straight back and not have that curve. So tailbone is tucked, pulling the hands down that tailbone. Go ahead and drop your chin towards your chest as you pull down with your arms. Breathe. Hinge from your hips forward, hands still behind your back. Go ahead and release. Bring your hands all the way to the ground. Go ahead and come on to your knees. Just a few cat-cows. One up, one down, up, and down. Good. Switch on over to a seated position. Just like how we started, legs can be crossed or legs can be out straight. Rest those hands on your knees. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale. Feel free to close your eyes. Exhale, drop your weight into your hips. Up. And down. Letting go of anything and everything that's on your mind. Whatever it may be that's causing you stress, anxiety. As you exhale, try to release those things as you only focus on the movement of your breath going in and out. Two more, one in.